I guess before we talk about the business, I want to ask you about the athletes, because I know the athletes are very important to you as well. You value them more than anything else, I would imagine. How are your athletes doing at this point with nothing happening, really?
Yeah, it's obviously a very rough time for the entire world. So it's not just specific to sports or not just specific to one championship. So we're all in it together. And the way I have spoken to my team, our athletes, is the best way to ride this thing out is through two concepts, as I say, creativity and resilience. Creativity, because we're faced with problems we've never seen before as an organization, and resilience because there's going to be obstacles, millions of obstacles that we've never even seen before. So being able to be creative in our solutions for new problems we've never seen. I think
Chatri, as you were just speaking there, Chatri, my apologies for interrupting. We're just getting some breaking news right now here in Hong Kong out of the chief executive, I guess, talking about the speculation that's really been going on for days now, that the time has come, she says, to ease social distancing measures, and that Hong Kong will be announcing the easing of social distancing measures as soon as possible. We don't have details on that one just yet. While we wait for that, let's get it back now to Chatri Sityodtong, who just joins us right now, of course, from One Championship. Chatri, you were saying, apologies for that. Go ahead.
No worries at all. That's great news. If Hong Kong is, relaxing social distancing, I hope the rest of the countries follow, especially the ones that have the virus under control. But yeah, that's the key to sports, right? I believe around 92 countries have their borders shut and/or on lockdown. So that obviously makes it very difficult for sports in general. Of course, my team and I are working around the clock with multiple options in multiple countries when the borders do open up.
Chatri, it's Tom here in Beijing. How much demand have you seen for live streaming in this environment? Do you expect that to pick up, and how dependent is that on being able to stage these live events?
That's absolutely critical. Well, actually, it's funny. We haven't had a live event since February 28th of this year, and yet our March and April numbers in many of our core markets are actually record highs in terms of TV viewership as well as our digital viewership. It just goes to show that everyone at home is, the craving for content. And so, ironically, this is actually a good time to create lots of content, which we're doing. So it might not be live sports, our flagship product, but we are still full force on creating great content for our fans. So whether it is, interviews or video blogs of our athletes' daily life, riding the quarantine, even to The Apprentice, which we're launching later this year, has a lot of buzz around our core markets.
Yeah, so you're talking about The Apprentice, some new content that you're producing. How do you actually do that in this environment, and how much are you setting aside in terms of spending on content like that?
Well, content like that, esports, for example, we still have our online tournaments going on. That's the interesting thing about gaming. For our esports division, we still have our, it's almost business as usual, except for the live events. The Apprentice is our first foray into general entertainment content, and we foresee this as being a big part of One Championship going forward, much in the same way that, let's say, Disney has not only, the movie studio business, but it also has ESPN and sports, etc. We see our general entertainment content stack to be a very significant part of One Championship's future, and it's going to launch with The Apprentice later this year.
Chatri, final question for you as well. Can't let you go without asking. You're on Bloomberg. In terms of your general cash flows as well, given the fact that you won't have any sort of live events, you have other things going on as well. Has the changing of the flow of money within the company as well changed what you're planning to do the next 12 and 24 months? And what are your private investors also talking about with you guys as it pertains to this?
Yeah. So we're very fortunate in that, sports media properties are inherently asset-light and intellectual property-heavy businesses that are platform businesses that the ecosystem derives economic or social value from. So in many ways, you can say even NBA or NFL or Major League Baseball are effective monopolies. And so we're very fortunate that we don't have 20,000 employees, despite being in 150 countries. We don't have, buildings and factories and airplanes on the tarmac. We're very, very low fixed cost structure. So actually, even under a current burn rate, if nothing happens, we still have a few years of runway. That being said, we are very active on our B2C monetization with our fan base through digital products. So our video games will be launching in the future, and our mobile video games are launching actually this summer. So we have a lot of different initiatives that drive revenue irrespective of live events. But remember, live events while it's a very, very big part of one championship, we're, at the end of the day, a media property. So as long as we produce great content with all of our broadcasters, which we are every week, and we are on air, that's still a good thing for one championship.